Hi, my name is Denny Johnson, and I would like to invite you to explore a series of opportunities to begin to examine about personal health and how that relates to choices that we can make. This is directed to primarily two sets of people. One, those persons who are seeking some resolution of a deeply serious form of disease or ailment in their body or in the bodies of their children or friends. The second part of this is directed to practitioners who seek to assist people to be able to transform disease inside of themselves. I would like you to consider that this is just my experience. I'm not saying it's always correct, but it's something that I use. It's something that I've seen that makes an effect on people and gives us the greatest opportunity to change ourselves, our family, and our world. Part of this is that the principles of personal health, for me, are based upon a simple paradigm. This paradigm is that we all have souls. No, this is not a religious encounter of some religious message of some type. I believe that we all have souls. You can accept that or reject that, but it's okay, set it aside for a moment. At least consider that the influences that come into us create two distinct bodies. One body we can call the spiritual body or the energy body, or it has many other names, but we have a body that is unseen by science or the naked eye. It is a spiritual body that encompasses our physical body. The physical body is the one that we obviously experience, we move around in, we feel, and it is the physical body where we experience our pain in some form or another. This whole process about how the physical body experiences the results or consequences of diseases. Now, what we're looking at is these black spots in the body may be where a cancer forms in a gland or an organ or a body system. Many people would say, look, I have a disease in my body because of these circumstances around me. This is a common mistake. People say, I have the results of this because of something I've eaten, chemicals, bad nutrition, or some other thing. It could be because of a system, a governmental system, an educational system, a religious system. I'm suffering because I'm damaged and hurt in some way by these external influences. I would have to say that there are no external influences who are actually at the core reason why anybody has a disease. I know that may be something to consider, but I'm giving you perhaps an opportunity to consider, just consider, that the opportunity to be able to recognize one of the first steps we have to make is to accept the responsibility of where we see the causation emanating from. Is the cause coming from external influences? Or is it possible that the cause of what's happening inside of our body may be coming from another location, such as your spiritual body or your own injured soul? So, where does this come from? If we just see external influences as the reason why we have a disease, we're losing the opportunity to be able to truly transform. At the same time, we might also wish for external influences to be the solution. So if you look on the internet and you look at the different cancer groups of one form or another, what you find is that there are hundreds, perhaps thousands of external remedies. A new herbal combination, a new mineral, a new vitamin, a new chemical, a new drug, a new tool, process, or technique that might be able to change it. Change your water, change your acupuncture system, go to South America involved in other chemicals and substances or journeys. We're oftentimes looking for external ways to change our own body. This is honorable in some ways because there are some influences from the outside, such as changing body chemistry in some form, that will be able to alleviate some of the pain and suffering. Correctly done, the changing of body chemistry can help the process, but will not cure the process. We can change symptoms biochemically, but the first step needs to be to accept the responsibility that the cause is coming from somewhere else. We can use some of these tools, but 99% of the things that are offered to us from people who wishes to eat new seeds or drink a new substance or do something else, no, not only does it not work the majority of the time, it does one very prominent error. And that error is that it takes away our responsibility to accept the reasons for why we have the condition. Every condition we have in the physical body, no matter how large or small, is the result of choices that we make. That's right. Our free will is engaged in the experience of the pain and suffering that we are enduring. So the first opportunity we have is to accept with our free will that we can begin to examine what the other causations might be. For example, in the process of looking at this, we might at least begin to consider that there is some degree of emotional influence or a feeling underneath why there is a difficulty in the body. This emotional reason oftentimes is invested in the genetic code of the family. So yes, our family tree is most prominently involved in how we are triggering things in a gland or an organ that allows us to have a disease. Yes, sooner or later we need to accept the responsibility that our own family is involved in unresolved feeling experiences that are now triggering the experience of what's happening inside my own body. That may be a big leap for some people, but it's about the acceptance of responsibility of the unresolved feelings given to us by our family tree. But eventually we're going to find out that it's not just the genetic patterns that we have received. It has a lot more to do with things within us, within our own souls, that now trigger these emotional patterns in the family that now create the disease. Now here's the difficulty with practitioners. Many practitioners, they want to, with their own compassion, try to help people change the symptoms in the body and are thus engaged in denying them the opportunity to accept that responsibility. So as a practitioner, yes, do the things that you like to do with your own methodology, but at least guide people to the experience that there is the opportunity for them to recognize the emotional patterns of their own family are engaged in this. And yes, I'll do my best to show you how to go into the spirit body, the subtle body of the person, of yourself, and to begin to experience these different feelings somewhere in the family tree that set up a genetic trigger. That genetic trigger now gave you the opportunity to make a choice that set in motion that trigger to now allow the body to not defend itself, because all of us have cancer cells inside the body, but we can allow the cancer cells to attack us or not. And sometimes our emotional choices actually direct one body system, such as the immune system, to attack a different gland, organ, or other body system. What is the trigger for why we now direct our unresolved feelings through a body system to permit a disease and or attack our own body? to recognize how this happens is part of this work. But the first step, accept the responsibility. At least consider where you direct your attention. Examine your own feelings for a moment. What do you really feel is the cause of your suffering? Is it some external influence? Body chemistry, the ecology, a system, a government, a religion? What is the reason that you feel? Ask yourself what that is. By being willing to ask that question with sincerity and humility, you start to begin to accept the responsibility that there's something deeper happening. I invite you to begin to examine this, because there's a series of personal responsibilities about how to do this well. I'll do my best, based on my experiences, to guide you through some of the opportunities to do that. Just so you know, I'm not here to sell you a product or a system of some kind. I'm just here to share what my experience is about how to begin to transform yourself, your family, our community, our world into a more loving and health-filled place. This is enough for now. Thank you for coming.